Long ago, in the heart of the African savanna, there stood a quiet village called Nkala. The villagers were farmers, hunters, and traders who lived simple lives guided by the wisdom of their ancestors. At the edge of the village stood an ancient baobab tree, enormous and twisted, its trunk so wide that 10 grown men holding hands could not surround it. The elders called it the listening tree. They said the tree could hear every secret whispered beneath its branches. But there was one warning every child in Nkala grew up hearing. Never whisper selfish wishes to the baobab, for the tree always answers, but not in the way you expect. One season, after a long drought, the village suffered greatly. Crops failed, rivers shrank, and hunger slowly crept into every home. Among the villagers lived a young boy named Obi, known for his cleverness, but also for his impatience. Obi was tired of poverty. He watched traders from distant towns arrive with bright fabrics, shining coins, and fine livestock, while his own family struggled daily. One evening, as the red sun dipped below the horizon, Obi remembered the old stories about the baobab tree. If the tree truly answers whispers, he thought, then perhaps it can change my life. Ignoring the warnings of the elders, Obi walked alone to the giant tree. The wind had grown strangely quiet. Even the birds seemed to hold their breath. With his heart pounding, Obi leaned close to the rough bark and whispered, "Great tree, make me the richest boy in Nkala." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the leaves above him rustled, though there was no wind. A deep, almost human-like whisper echoed softly. "Your wish has been heard." Obi stepped back, frightened but excited. He ran home, convinced that by morning his life would change. The next day, something strange happened. A traveling merchant arrived in Nkala and, for reasons no one could explain, gave Obi a small pouch filled with shining coins. Soon after, Obi began finding lost items, bracelets, tools, even livestock, that no one claimed. Within weeks, Obi became the wealthiest boy in the village. People stared in amazement. Some admired him. Others whispered that something felt wrong. At first, Obi enjoyed his new life. His family built a bigger house, wore better clothes, and ate more than ever before. But soon, strange problems began to appear. Neighbors stopped sharing food with his family. Friends stopped visiting. When village children played together, Obi noticed they always left him out. Even worse, whenever something went missing in the village, people quietly blamed him even when he was innocent. Wealth had come, but trust had disappeared. One night, Obi overheard his parents speaking in hushed voices. Since the money came, his mother said, peace has left this house. Riches without goodwill are a heavy burden, his father replied. Obi felt a deep ache in his chest. For the first time, he wondered if the baobab tree had truly helped him or tricked him. The next evening, he returned to the great tree. This time, the air felt colder. The shadows beneath the branches stretched like long fingers across the ground. Obi placed his hand on the bark and whispered, "Great tree, take this wealth away. I only want things to be the way they were before." Again, the leaves trembled. "Every wish has a lesson," the whisper replied. "Are you ready to learn it?" "Yes," Obi said quietly. The next morning, the coins were gone. The livestock his family had suddenly gained had disappeared. Their large house seemed smaller again, and their fine clothes had faded. But something else had changed. Neighbors greeted them warmly once more. Children came calling for Obi to join their games. Laughter slowly returned to his home. That evening, the village elders gathered beneath the baobab tree. Obi, ashamed but wiser, stepped forward and confessed everything, his selfish wish, his sudden wealth, and the lesson he had learned. The oldest elder smiled gently and said, "The baobab does not punish. It teaches. Wealth gained without community brings loneliness. But wisdom gained from mistakes brings strength." From that day forward, Obi became known not as the richest boy in Nkala, but as one of the wisest. And whenever children passed the great Baobab tree, they remembered the lesson of Obi's whisper. Be careful what you ask for, because every wish carries a price. Moral of the story. True worth is not measured by coins or possessions, but by the trust, friendship, and goodwill of the people around you.